You're at a party. Someone asks, "How's the weather treating you?" And inside, you feel your energy drain like someone pulled a plug. Or maybe you're that person who asks about the weather, and you notice certain people give one-word answers before finding an escape route. Here's what most people get wrong: this isn't about intelligence versus stupidity. It's not about being too smart for normal conversation. The psychology behind why some people avoid small talk reveals something far more interesting about how different brains process social connection. I'm going to show you what neuroscience research has discovered about small talk, why it feels like torture for some people and natural for others, and how to bridge that gap without anyone feeling inadequate. This isn't about judging either approach. It's about understanding why we're wired differently. Let's start. Think about the last social gathering you attended. How did you feel during small talk? Keep that in mind. If you want to understand the psychology behind manipulation, control, and influence, if you want to protect yourself and the people you care about, subscribe. We're exposing the tactics that institutions profit from you not understanding. We're teaching defense strategies that make you psychologically bulletproof. We're not stopping until manipulation recognition is common knowledge and exploitation has consequences. In 2015, psychologist Dr. Matthias Mell at the University of Arizona conducted a fascinating study. He tracked conversations of hundreds of people for days, categorizing them as small talk or substantive discussion. Then he measured their happiness levels. What he found surprised everyone: people who had more substantive conversations reported significantly higher well-being than those who engaged primarily in small talk. But here's the twist: it wasn't about intelligence. It was about something called cognitive processing style. Your brain has two modes of processing social information. Some people primarily use what neuroscientists call top-down processing. They're constantly analyzing, connecting patterns, seeking meaning. Others primarily use bottom-up processing. They build connection through shared present moment experiences. Neither is better. Neither is smarter. They're just different operating systems. And small talk feels painful or natural depending on which system your brain defaults to. Dr. Mell's research showed that what we call intelligent people avoiding small talk is actually pattern-seeking brains struggling with low information exchanges. Source: Dr. Matthias Mell, Eavesdropping on Happiness, Psychological Science, 2010. Link in description. Reason 1: High cognitive need for complexity. What it is: some brains are wired to constantly seek patterns, make connections, and extract meaning. Small talk provides very little data to process, which creates a cognitive frustration similar to being intellectually hungry while being fed empty calories. How it manifests: the 3 stages. Stage 1: the attempt. They engage in small talk. How was your weekend? But their brain is already 3 steps ahead, trying to find meaning, connection, or novelty in the response. Stage 2: the understimulation. When the answer is surface level good, you. Their brain receives insufficient data to process. It's like trying to solve a puzzle with only 2 pieces. The understimulation creates mild anxiety or boredom. Stage 3: the withdrawal. Rather than feeling energized by connection, they feel drained. Not because they're antisocial, but because their brain worked hard and got no payoff. So they avoid situations where this is likely. Why others don't notice: from the outside, this looks like snobbery or social awkwardness. But internally, this person is experiencing cognitive discomfort. They're not rejecting you, they're seeking enough information to actually connect with you. Real-world examples, multiple contexts. In social gatherings, they gravitate toward the person discussing philosophy in the corner rather than joining the group discussing weekend plans. Not because weekend plans don't matter, but because their brain needs complexity to engage. At work, they struggle with water cooler chat but excel in brainstorming sessions. The same social situation with higher information density suddenly becomes comfortable. In relationships, they need to discuss ideas, feelings, future plans, values, not because they don't care about your day, but because how was your day without depth doesn't compute as connection for their brain. Complexity addition, important note, this isn't about being better than small talk. Many people with this wiring struggle socially because they haven't learned that small talk serves a social bonding function even without information density. They're not superior, they're just different, and sometimes lonely because of it. Red flag: you have this pattern. Small talk exhausts you, but deep conversations energize you. You'd rather have one 3-hour conversation than 10 3-minute ones. Networking events feel like torture, but intense one-on-one discussions feel like coming home. What it is: small talk follows predictable scripts. How are you? Fine. You? Good. Nice weather. For some brains, this predictability creates cognitive boredom because there's no novelty to process. The psychological mechanism: here's what happens neurologically. Your brain has something called the default mode network. It activates when you're not actively engaged. During predictable exchanges, this network takes over, making you feel like you're not really present. Research by Dr. Mary Helen Immortino Yang at USC found that highly analytical minds have default mode networks that crave novelty and meaning making. During small talk, they're literally experiencing their brain going into standby mode while trying to maintain social presence. It's exhausting. Recognition pattern: watch for the sequence. Social interaction begins, they engage warmly, the conversation becomes predictable, their eyes glaze over slightly, they start looking for exit strategies. It's not rudeness, it's cognitive shutdown from understimulation. Multiple perspectives. For some, this is a skill gap. They never learned that small talk is the social equivalent of a handshake, a ritual that establishes safety before deeper connection. They're skipping steps because they don't understand the function. For others, this is neurodivergence. Many people with ADHD, autism, or high analytical intelligence genuinely process social scripts differently. Their brains literally don't register shallow exchanges as connection. For many, this is learned avoidance. They've had enough awkward small talk experiences that they've started avoiding social situations entirely, creating a cycle of social isolation. Pause. Do you recognize yourself in either of these patterns? Or have you felt judged by someone exhibiting these patterns? Both experiences are valid. Here's the wisdom that creates connection across different cognitive styles. The 3-step connection framework. Step 1. Recognize the function. If you avoid small talk, understand that for many people, small talk isn't empty, it's how they establish safety before going deeper. It's a social ritual that says, I'm safe, you're safe, we can now connect. You're not superior for skipping it. You're just missing a step that helps others feel comfortable. If you love small talk, understand that some people's brains genuinely can't extract connection from surface exchanges. They're not judging you. They're waiting for enough information to actually process who you are. Step 2. Bridge the gap. The magic phrase: I'd love to go deeper on that if you're interested. If someone asks, how's your weekend? Try, good. Actually, I've been thinking a lot about topic. Have you ever wondered about question? You're honoring the small talk script while offering an on-ramp to depth. Most people will either engage or politely decline. Both outcomes are fine. Step 3. Create space for both. In social settings, I love catching up, and I also love deep dives. Is now a catching up time or a deep dive time for you? This gives people permission to choose their engagement level. Small talk people feel seen. Deep conversation people feel invited. Nobody feels inadequate. Why this works: this approach honors that different brains need different things to feel connected. It removes judgment, neither style is better. It creates choice, people can meet in the middle. And it builds actual bridges instead of just lamenting the gap. Here's the truth most people miss: small talk and deep conversation aren't opposites. They're different stages of connection. Small talk says, I see you. You're safe. We're human together. Deep conversation says, I want to know who you really are. Both matter. Both serve a function. And healthy relationships need both. If you're someone who avoids small talk, you're not more intelligent. You're not more evolved. You're someone whose brain seeks patterns and struggles with low information exchanges. That's valid. But learning to tolerate the handshake phase of connection will open doors you've been unknowingly closing. If you're someone who loves small talk, you're not superficial. You're not less intelligent. You're someone whose brain builds connection through shared present moment experiences. That's valid. But inviting people into deeper exchanges will create the intimacy that predictable scripts can't provide. Remember that social gathering you thought about at the beginning? Now you can see it differently. Maybe that person who seemed cold was just cognitively understimulated. Maybe that person who kept it light was establishing safety before going deeper. The goal isn't to abandon your natural style. It's to develop flexibility. To recognize that different doesn't mean deficient. To build bridges instead of walls. If this helped you understand your own social patterns or someone else's, share it. Comment whether you're a small talk person, a deep conversation person, or somewhere in between. And remember, intelligence isn't about avoiding small talk or embracing it. Intelligence is recognizing that human connection comes in different languages, and the wisest among us learn to speak more than one. You're not wrong for how you connect. You're just one dialect in a beautifully complex human language. And there's someone out there who speaks your dialect, waiting for you to find the courage to show up and try. That's the psychology. That's the bridge. That's your invitation to connect.